Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 11 of the PSGL F4 Championship in season 27. It's the second to last round, and it could be our championship decider this week. And my name is Felix, and I'm once again joined by Jake. Hello, welcome.
Yeah, hello. I'm going to have a hard time tonight, I feel like, with the maths, potentially, depending how this goes. But yeah, Ryan can wrap up the championship this evening, but we've still got three other drivers in contention ready to stop him. And stop the alarm, breaking news, Feynman actually has a full-time seat now.
Ah, brilliant. So he's got his title of the best reserve driver taken away in PSGL now. Now he's just a regular, really good regular driver. The man who's on an absolute mission since he's joined the league. And yeah, he was the best reserve driver in terms of the championship standings in the entirety of PSGL. But now he's got his full-time seat in the Racing Point, as we can see here. And yeah, he's been doing pretty well, I'd say, in the last couple of races. He's got 2 wins already this season. He's got 2 podiums, and he's just very consistent. And it's sad that he wasn't there for the entirety of the season. I mean, he missed, I think it was Italy, where he couldn't join because the grid was full. And we've seen how much talent that guy has got on track. And I'm pretty sure he wants to show that on his first appearance in an actual full-time seat.
And definitely for us, and maybe for him as well, it's a nice bit of consistency because he's in the Racing Point, which I believe he's pretty much done most of, if not all of his reserve drives in. So, nice bit of consistency there. It looks familiar, it looks right. And he's one of the 3 drivers that can still stop Ryan, but he's the outsider in terms of points. And he will probably need to win tonight and hope that Ryan isn't on the podium to keep his hopes going to Japan.
Yeah, currently 24 points behind our championship leader Ryan, who can wrap it up this evening. But yeah, he didn't have his best result this season, let's put it that way. In Mexico, only got away with 6 points and lost out to every single one of his championship rivals. And we still got 34 points to give away, including fastest lap. So if Diamond wins both rounds and sets the fastest lap in them, he would still win. Currently 24 points behind him, behind Ryan in the championship. So it's still possible, but Ryan, yeah, if he outscores his main championship rival, which is Luke, by 4 points, then it's absolutely secured. 3 points actually is enough. 3 points is actually enough because he's got more wins on the board then. And yeah, but like considering last week, do you reckon that Ryan maybe is going to lose some more points to his championship rivals, or do you think he can fight back after what was not the best of rounds for him last week?
I mean, if you look at the sort of how the points have gone from this season, he got a lot of his major points at the front of the season. He got 2 wins in round 2 and round 3, started off with a podium. He's had a couple of solid results since then, but he's also had a lot of races off the podium. So I think he could be under a bit of pressure tonight. I don't think, with all due to respect to him, I don't think he's the outright quickest guy in this league at the moment. I would say Feynman and maybe Max as well have an edge in pace on him. So it's going to be an interesting one to see. And of course, I wouldn't expect rain around Abu Dhabi, so he won't have that to help him out. But it's going to be close. I'm not sure he's going to wrap it up tonight. That would be my prediction.
Yeah, I think this is going to go to the finale next week when we head to Japan for what will hopefully be a thrilling finale then. And I gotta say, I love Japan as the final race of the season. But I would love Brazil even more, but that's what we had last season, and now we've got Japan. And yeah, I think both of them are just very historical tracks and very, very nice season finales compared to Abu Dhabi, which I actually like as a track. In real life, it's not too nice to watch, to be honest, but I still like it. But it's probably just because of Yeah, my personal experience with this track, it's the first F1 race I've ever watched back in 2009, and um, I don't know, it's just got a special flair to me with the transition to nighttime as Ryan goes onto the first row of the grid with his banker 700ths of a second behind Thyman at the moment, and currently sitting in P2 in his Mercedes then, and that would be a pretty good starting position.
Yeah, definitely. That was a nice little lap from Ryan. I thought for a split second he was about to go quickest, and I was about to curse him in a good way for a change. But yeah, right now, early laps going in. Not too many surprises. I mean, Vapornoof's done a good lap to go into third. It's not the best of the bankers from Max, currently down in 8th. And we've currently got both Alfa Romeos on a lap, but I believe Cohen has already invalidated, so it's just down to see what Luke can do on his opening lap. And of course, he is one of the drivers in contention for the championship, but he's the only one of the championship contenders, I think I'm right in saying, that hasn't won a race.
Yeah, and that is something very special. We don't see that all too often in racing leagues, but it's all about consistency for Luke so far, and it's worked out pretty well, and maybe even it brings him to the championship at the end. He's still got a chance for it, and he's still the main contender who's fighting against Ryan as he slightly loses the rear end, goes wide, and then invalidates his lap time.
And I quickly flicked across to Gabri as he was going spinning into the wall. Looks like that's just on the exit of turn 1, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's damage as well.
So that's the end of his lap, and that's kind of a first set of lap times done in qualifying, and the 2 Alfa Romeos not getting laps in early on. I don't know if Cohen's going for a second lap. I think he did, you know, but I think he's invalidated again.
Oh, good start to Cohen's quali then. So, yeah, currently we've got only 13 drivers, sadly, tonight. But still, those guys usually manage to give us a pretty good show. Obviously, you guys watching want to see a good race as well. And so do we, because it just makes our life that much easier when we've actually got something to commentate on instead of just talking about things that we've discussed multiple times already. For example, the championship. Right now we're at the stage where the first couple of guys are coming back out to set their second lap time. And I don't know what about you, Jake, but I just love like the sunset atmosphere here. Nearly gets like almost nighttime here in terms of the time of day. And I just love that, like the lights showing down on the track, and it's similar to Bahrain, but Bahrain obviously starts a lot later local time, and it's already dark when the lights go out. But here in the race, I just love the transition when it's still, you know, you can see the sun, and then suddenly the sun gets replaced by the moon, and everything's pretty dark, and then the lights make it a lot lighter on the track for the drivers, and I just love that.
It is, I would say, is although my opinions on the track are probably quite similar to a lot of people's, it certainly is very picturesque, and I do love the transitional effect. You know, you start effectively just before sunset, and then you see obviously transition to night as you go in the race. It is a really stunning location for a racetrack. The racetrack itself could probably do with a bit of work just to make it a bit more exciting, although I have to say, on the game at least, it does tend to produce some decent races. In terms of quickly jumping on the fact that there is only 13 people here tonight, if there is one person who that may benefit, it's probably going to be Ryan, because there's less opportunity for him to lose positions and finish lower down because there are less people. So, I don't know, that could potentially help. That could potentially help him, as Kazizel has retired from the session and now left the session. I know coming into this he said he might not be able to do the race. I didn't quite get the reasoning as to why, but I hope everything's okay. We've got a few drivers out for their second hot laps, and I'm wondering, particularly for Max and Ghost, if they can find a bit more time on their second efforts.
Yeah, Max currently on a lap. It's pretty difficult to commentate over it because on my screen at least Max is lagging quite heavily.
Yeah, I got a bit of it.
Yeah, and yeah, it's not easy to commentate over it as he invalidates anyway. So let's just quickly switch off to someone else which I can actually commentate. over, and that is Kryptonite, who's following right behind him. And yeah, ironically, with the number 14, which Fernando Alonso is probably going to use when he comes back into the sport this year, with the Alpine, right?
I'm saying Alpine.
With the Alpine team, it's not going to stay yellow, sadly. I actually liked it. I actually liked the Renault name as well. Obviously, a lot of history in that team name, but now it's just, yeah, promotion of their branding, Alpine. Not even quite sure what they're doing, but I definitely like the Renault yellow. And Kryptonite is just invalidated, so that's his lap done as well. And Luke also has invalidated, so and then loses the rear end. So it seems like both of the Alfa Romeos are struggling quite a lot at the early stages of this qualifying session. Shouldn't say early stages, to be honest. We've only got 6 minutes and 45 seconds left in this session, so they need to get a move on if they actually want to set a decent lap time. And from personal experience, I know how hard it is to have only set one single banker time before, because then on the last run you've really got to find the balance in between risking it and being quick and not invalidating. As Boyrod goes second.
Superb lap. Yeah, I was about to say Boyrod's on a really good lap there, and he has literally just gone second, but Vapor Noof now pops into provisional pole. That's a bit of a surprise. And I'm not saying he's not a slow driver by any means, but we've not really seen him up at the sharp end all too often this season. That's a good lap.
I quickly want to give out a shout out to Codemasters, who when I go into Gap fastest lap, then it says it's a 1:32.265 for Boyrod and a 1:32.266 for Ryan, so 1,000 difference. But when I put Gap onto leader, it says both are 0.122 seconds off, which obviously can't be right if Boyrod's 1,000 quicker. So good job by Cody's.
Yeah, I saw that across the line. It said 266, and I then saw he was ahead of Ryan. I was like, wait, how's that worked?
Yeah.
But it said 265 on the timing screen, so a bit of an odd one. Cohen is out there on mediums doing a lap and looked all out of shape, so I don't think this is a lap time that's going to do much for him. Yeah, 33.8 miles off pace, but obviously to be expected on medium tyres. Of course, with only been 3 drivers that are going to start outside the top 10, and if you do start inside the top 10, you're pretty much locked into a 2-stop unless your name's Free Gloves. Then, yeah, you might potentially look at starting outside the top 10 as a bit of an opportunity tonight.
By the way, when I saw Boyrod's and Ryan's lap times being so close to each other, may I just remind you of Jerez? That was my best shot at pronunciation for it. 1997, the season finale, championship fight between Michael Schumacher and Jacques Villeneuve. Obviously, most of us remember what happened in the race then, or maybe not remember, but they know what happened. I wasn't even born then. But yeah, on quali day, we've had 3 drivers who set exactly the same lap time in the season finale. I remember that as one of the most famous quali sessions that I've heard of that I didn't watch in person.
Yeah, that is just, I mean, if we see something replicated like that, I'll be amazed. It could be possible though, and obviously the margins in these leagues are super close. We've got about, 8 tenths separating the drivers at the moment who've set laps on soft tyres. I'm currently watching Ghost, who is out there. He's a couple of tenths up on his previous best lap time, so depending on how this final sector goes, he could jump up a few spots. And I would say as well, this final sector is really where you gain and lose the most time.
Yeah, it's a very awkward final sector, I feel like, and I feel like that would need some change, as well as Ghost improves by 0.2 of a second, puts himself up into P5 for that. But look at the gap in between P4 and P5. That's something we usually don't see all too often in F4, if I'm honest, but seems like in Abu Dhabi the gaps are just that little bit bigger. And Luke is actually out on the mediums. Don't know if you've mentioned that already, but I've just noticed.
Yeah, both Alfa Romeos have done this now. We saw Cohen do it earlier. I think they're clearly in very close communication, this pair. And yeah, not too sure. Maybe they want to start outside the top 10, I don't know. It's interesting to see. Gabri hasn't re-emerged onto the track either, so he may be doing the same thing. And I suspect Luke should be able to beat the 33.8 from Cohen, because I was on board with Cohen through the last sector and it looked a bit scruffy, I've got to be honest. So I think there's definitely more time in there. Should Luke choose to finish this lap, which he's going to, and this is going to be his only lap. Well, he won't be able to do a soft tyre run now. He's run out of time for that. He's actually gone up to 9th on a 32.9. That's a pretty good effort on medium tyres, I have to say, and that may put him inside the top 10. In fact, no, a scrap bat, it probably definitely will now, unless Cohen's back out, so Cohen could knock him out the top 10 on that one, but nevertheless, that's a good lap from Luke on mediums, and he may end up starting on that set of tyres.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not a bad choice. I mean, he has to risk something if he still wants to gain some points in the championship before the final round next week. And starting on the mediums would definitely give him the chance of doing something else than all the others, and probably his main championship rival as well. And yeah, we know that the one-stop can definitely work. You can also do soft medium run as he goes through tyres, because he has already set his final run. And yeah, then he's got the opportunity mid-race to change it. If you start on mediums, you can go medium hard. You can still do the two-stop. You can try and do a medium soft as well. So yeah, basically he just leaves his possibility of changing strategy mid-race very wide open. And I think that's a big advantage over the others then. If he can just keep it clean in the midfield and at the start, he should have a really good chance, and he's at least going to be 10th.
Yeah, just received confirmation from Kazizel that the issue that he has means he won't be rejoining. Max goes 5th. That was a good last sector for Max, because he didn't look like he was massively improving up to that point. McCrew has spun around the final turn and will not improve on his lap time. We've still got some guys out there, including Ryan and Feynman, so these are some crucial laps here, because currently we've got some drivers right at the front who are not in the championship scrap and will have nothing to lose. Ryan's backed out of his lap.
Oh, and Feynman has just invalidated. Penultimate corner, and he has invalidated, and that would have put him onto provisional pole, yeah. Ah, that must be so annoying for him. Let's see what Boyrod does as he comes across the line.
He improves, but not enough. I'll tell you what, Vapor Noob might be about to go into the 31s here. Not quite, a 32-0. Wow. Well, that pretty much wraps up pole position for him. I don't think there's many drivers out there. Kryptonite, I think, and Cohen are the only two left. Cohen's invalidated, so he won't be improving. So it's all down to Kryptonite now.
Boyrod actually goes for a second run here. On the same set of softs with barely any ERS left, but he tries it. And Ryan has also started his second attempt. Oh, that's a big risk. I'll tell you what, that's a big risk. Doing 2 laps on the softs, because they don't last that long around here. I mean, you can stretch them in the race, but they're not going to feel great on that first stint. Kryptonite goes into P5, and yeah, that's certainly interesting. So McCrew is invalidated now, and now we've got Ryan and Boyrod.
Boyrod's backed off. Yep.
So let's see what Ryan does. Our championship leader is the only one to set his final lap. And yeah, like I said, that's brave. That's a brave call here. So in between P1 and P2 in the championship, we've got 2 entirely different starting positions and strategic elements. I mean, we've got our championship leader in P4 quite far up the grid. Probably then on 2 lap of softs, but we've got our second man in the championship. Scratch that. That's probably not going to help his run. And yes, he has abandoned his lap, and that was the mistake that cost him probably a spot, maybe even inside the front row. But yeah, that was the mistake that needed to happen when you push that hard.
I think as well, I think Feynman may have gone for another lap, as well, because he was up through the second sector, but he then backed off. So I think a few drivers went for second laps, but none of them really managed to pull it off. And I could be wrong in this, but I'm going to go out on a whim and say it. I think that's Vapornoof's first pole position of the season.
I think it is as well. I can't remember him being on pole this season so far, but that's a pretty good effort. Also by a gap of 1.5 tenths. And yeah, Diamond finally has found someone that he can fight with in the race, it looks like. Because in Mexico, he absolutely took off and was never seen again. But there's your starting grid for tonight then. We've got Vapornoof taking his first pole of the season. The man from... Is that New Zealand? Or is that a different flag? Let me check. I want to see. Yeah, New Zealand. All right.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask Codemasters after the Armstrong debacle.
Then we've got Diamond in second, Boylrod starting third ahead of our championship leader Ryan. We've got Kryptonite in fifth ahead of Max and Ghosts. And we've got McCrew in eighth. Luke on a set of mediums in ninth. So, yeah, a lot of strategic variety for him in this upcoming race. Then we've got Kush in 10th, Kazizla in 11th, who's not going to be rejoining, Cohen in 12th, and then we've got Gabri in 13th. So we're going to start the race with 12 drivers in the actual session, and I definitely would keep an eye on Luke this race. He's starting on mediums. He can switch the strategy to whatever he wants during the race. He can still do the same strategy as everyone else, just reversed. He can go into hards, he can go into softs, try the one stop, and yeah, it gives him a big advantage over all the others. And I tell you what, out of my own experience, I can tell you that starting ninth isn't that bad either.
No, he's going to be in a pretty solid position now, and we'll see what he can do in terms of strategy as well as pace at the start of the race. He could be one to look out for. A couple of things I've just noticed in the feedback from drivers. Feynman saying he pretty bottled pole position, and Vapornoof obviously very happy with pole position, saying grazie ragazzi, stop the count.
Stop the count, yeah. I would say the same if I was him. I think he wouldn't mind if the race was stopped after probably half the distance, because then he gets 4 points as well. But congrats, mate, you've got a pole position to your name now, and that's already a good thing to say at the end of the season. But now the drivers are going off for the penultimate formation lap of the season. Vapornoof leading the grid as they go off into the distance. Gabri took quite a while to start. He's got a pretty cool helmet and he spun.
Well, I said about to say he's elected to start on softs outside the top 10, which is a bit of an unusual one, but that's not the most unusual thing that's just occurred, it would turn out. It's
a sick helmet though. If you go on board, look at that. It's like from a comic.
I rate that a lot.
Hey, that's cool. I want that as well. I don't know where you got it from. But let's not talk about helmets. Let's rather talk about the race. As the drivers prepared, let's see. Yeah, we've got a lot of... Every time I see that camera view on that straight, I have to think of Kimi Räikkönen in 2017 when everyone was weaving around, warming up the tyres, and then there was just Kimi going straight, not caring about his tyre attempts at the start. But yeah, pretty much everyone has done a Kimi Räikkönen on that straight. I bet everyone just wants to have their tyres warm at the end of the formation lap, and they don't want to wear them out too much in the first two sectors. But I think the third sector is long enough to warm up your tyres before the race starts. So we've got Vapornoof. That's a nice camera perspective there. I love the hotel. It looks pretty good, but like I said, I don't like the final sector. You can absolutely not overtake through there, and we saw quite some spectacular crashes through the triple right-hander before the hotel section. I remember Nico Rosberg taking off in 2012 as he hit the rear wing of Narayan Kartikeyan, and that was pretty heavy. But apart from that, I don't remember a single overtake being made in that section.
One driver I would keep an eye on here potentially would be Boyrod. I watched him a few times on board in qualifying. He looked super smooth, so he could be one to keep an eye on in P3, and he was very close to Feynman's that time as well.
As the lights are coming on for us now, but I think for the drivers, it's going to take some time until they go off. And we've got a jump start in the background. No, that's an AI who's just flown off. And now we are off here for the penultimate round. Good start from the Mercedes of Ryan, who's already challenging for P2, coming down into turn 1. And he's got the move not quite done. He might actually be back, overtaken by Boyrod. And they're going side by side through turn 3 now. And that could end in tears for the championship leader, but they're still going side by side. He's now got the inside line, which could help him. Yes, it is. And he's up into P4 in the back row. We've got Max trying to make a move on the other Renault of Kryptonite. Ghost is a bit stuck behind the two of them, but he hasn't got the move done just yet. Cohen made up a few spots, and Kaziz's AI is leading.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take them long to catch that car up. Look at Max, he's battling away with the two Renaults, and it looks like he's trying to go down the inside of Boyer Road, but no way through on this occasion. He's got to be careful he doesn't lose a position to Kryptonite, which I believe is a position he may have gained at the start. I'm not too sure on that one.
I think that was Luke trying to make a move around the outside of Ghosts. Yes, he has. And up into P8, considering he has started on the mediums. That was a pretty solid start for him. Not lost a position, but gained one instead at the start of the third sector then, as he loses the rear end coming out of the chicane. But no worries for him, and that looks like a pretty good position for him he's in right now. I mean, mediums, PA currently.
Yeah, definitely. And one driver who's had a really poor start is McCrew. Started way up in 8th and has dropped to the back of the field, so he's not had an ideal start on his tyres. And we've actually got Cohen coming into the pits, so it looks like he may have some damage on that Alfa Romeo.
Wait, I just remembered Luke is actually now in P7 because obviously Kazizel was leading the race on our timing sheets here, but he's obviously not being counted in, but still great game, Codemasters. So basically he's up into P7 at the minute, so Ryan's in P3 and Luke's in P7.
I was going to say potentially Vapornuke could get DRS on Kazizel, but I think Vapornuke will be past Kazizel before we get to lap 3.
And also, oh yeah, great, the AI is ahead of everyone else by a lap. So it's going to take probably the entirety of the race. Someone just disappeared there.
So on my screen, I've got it as a 6/10 because there's ahead of Vapornuke. So
well, I've got 1 minute 40.
Oh, God.
But he's just gone past him now. Okay, so it wasn't 1 minute 40 then.
That's a relief.
No. Currently, I can't even trust the gaps now. We see the predicted pit stop strategy. We can see a 3-stop here, which I'm pretty sure is not going to happen if we haven't got a safety car in this race. And we can see the top 3 are taking off into the distance while Boyrod is struggling to keep up with them. And Max is doing a good job of staying within that 1 second window of Boyrod ahead. And so is Luke, only 6 tenths behind Kryptonite at the minute, and considering he is on a medium compound, that is a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think Luke's had a really good start in terms for his race. I don't think that's too bad at all. So he's looking in good shape at the moment.
Oh,
the Ghost is out. I'm going to stay on board with Cohen.
We've got a safety car.
Yeah, I'm going to stay on board with Cohen because I just want to see what's happened to him. It looks like that's an odd place to crash.
Oh, and I tell you what, I think that absolutely helps Luke right now, because basically everyone who started on the softs now is forced to make a pit stop to not lose an entire pit stop to everyone else, and basically everyone who's now going onto the medium tire is forced to go onto a 2-stop strategy, and Luke can just stay out, do 1 pit stop in this race, and then he's leading. If everyone's pitting now, he is leading this race.
The one driver who it potentially won't help is Kryptonite, who may have to queue up in the pits behind his teammate. Max has a penalty as well. I did check that. That's not. I thought it might be like a 5-second penalty or something, but no, it's just a 3-second corner cutting penalty. So an early penalty for Max, which could be quite costly. But I have to say, one thing I've noticed already: the top 3 seems significantly quicker than everyone else behind them.
They definitely took off into the distance, and Forever, who's then technically leading this race. Let me check if the top three are diving into the pits. Yes, they
are
are
indeed.
I think it's the only thing you can do right now. Everyone's diving into the pits. Apart from Kazizel and Kryptonite. Kazizel. Oh, I feel sorry for Kryptonite. He can't control the pace then because he's got the AI car of Kazizel ahead of him.
Yeah, unless because this is on mediums as well, so I doubt his AI is going to dive in anytime soon.
And remember, the game gives you a penalty when you're not within 10 car lengths of the car ahead then. So if he just does his own pace, he's going to get a pen.
Interestingly, I don't know what you make of this, Vapor Nufa's gone against everyone else in terms of tyre selection and has opted for a second set of softs.
So he's... Well, I could see him then do the two stops still and just try and two sets of softs instead of two sets of mediums compared to everyone else who's fitted the mediums. So this race is in a very interesting strategic position right now, and I think Luke really has to think about what he wants to do in this race.
There's one championship contender right now who's not in a good spot. It's probably Max, with the penalty he's got and the fact that he's not really looked like he hasn't really. It's just strange, really, because Max had that run of wins where he was super quick, but I haven't really seen that pace from him today. He just doesn't seem like maybe he's not at one with this track. It is one of those where it can be difficult to find the rhythm, but yeah, he just doesn't look to have that front running pace tonight. So it could be a tough one for Max, and of course already 18 points adrift to Ryan. He's going to need to beat Ryan to keep his hopes alive, and right now that doesn't look too likely.
Currently we've got Max as the only guy who's got a penalty, and interestingly enough, Gabri hasn't pitted either, and he's on a set of softs, so I don't see a reason for him not to pit. I can see Kryptonite not pitting on the previous lap because his teammate was in, obviously. Kryptonite's not going in, or is he? No, I think
he made a little dart as if he was going to, but didn't.
Maybe tried to bait Luke into a pit stop there, but I think Luke, with his consistency, has got enough intelligence to keep a cool head in this situation, and it's not an easy one he's in at the minute, because he's now on the oldest pair of mediums out of everyone on this track. But he is also, in comparison to the net leaders, he pretty much is the net leader at the minute, because we've got an AI car ahead of him, and Kryptonite, who's got the softs from the start still fitted onto his car. So
now, a bit of news on Ghost, because I was a bit puzzled as to where he crashed. Judging from what McCrew has said in the chat, it may have been some contact that put Ghost out of the race, so might see that one in the stewards later on, I don't know, but either way, unfortunately for Ghost, that is his race come to an end, and that's crucial in terms of a Constructors' Championship, because Alfa Romeo have a 7-point lead on Mercedes at the moment, and both Alfa Romeos are still going in this race, although Cohen is currently outside the points. But it's a good opportunity for Alfa Romeo to potentially extend that lead going to Japan. And yeah, it's going to all be down to Ryan now to see how many points he can score for Mercedes, although his eyes now will be only on the Drivers' Championship prize. The safety car's coming in this lap, and annoyingly for Kryptonite, he cannot dictate the pace.
Yeah, that is just Codemasters at its best. I mean, I feel like it's a good thing that the AI started the race, because in theory, Kazizel could rejoin now still, but the fact that his AI just took off 20 seconds out of everyone else is just a bit ridiculous. But yeah, it's very annoying for Kryptonite now, because usually he'd be the one dictating the pace, and now it's Kazizel's AI, and the AI usually makes pretty predictable restarts as soon as the safety car is inside the pit lane. the AI will usually go, which is the case now, I think. Yes, it is. And there's the race restart, and that didn't make it easy for Kryptonite. We see Luke weaving on the main straight to warm up his size just that little bit more, and Kazizo's AI is trying to fight Kryptonite here, but he's obviously ghosted luckily, otherwise that would be an absolute pain for the Renault driver. But let's see how many laps. Oh, look at Vapornu. He's been aggressive. He's trying to get down the inside of the Williams, and we've got a 3 wide situation with a ghost car, and he's got the inside line for the hairpin. He's pushing Gabri out wide, pushing him off the track, and Simon probably says thank you very much now, and he's probably going to get the spot from Gabri as well. That was pretty hard racing from Vapornu. I'm all for hard racing, but I think he could have left a bit more space than that in that situation. There goes Simon then down the inside, not braking too late in order not to hit that McLaren. He's still got a car on his inside. He's slightly being forced out wide onto the curve. It's difficult to accelerate on that, and especially with the mediums compared to the softs, it's going to be not easy for him, but he's still side by side now coming into the second chicane after the second DRS straight, and now he's got the position done as Gabri has to cut the corner in order to avoid a collision. But that was some good racing.
Yeah, fair play in the end. Fireman kept his nose in there, made sure he got the position, but Gabri made it difficult for him within the rules, of course. Boyrod and Max, I believe, have just swapped positions. In fact, I believe that was maybe Max trying to get the position off Boyrod, and Boyrod hanging on to it. So Max trying to make up some ground too early on. Ryan now is the next car to try and pass Gabri, and he needs to do it quickly because you can already see Fireman and Vapornu disappearing up the road. In fact, he might do it into turn 1. In fact, not the usual overtaking spot. He pushes Gabri a little bit wide again. Gabri not getting much love from some of his fellow drivers here tonight, but Ryan looks like he's got the position stick, and this could go very well with Boyrod.
It could have ended in absolute tears, and Gabri's being bullied left, right and centre, I feel like, and there's another dive coming for him, and this time he's able to defend for now though, at least, and now there's been contact again, and he's been pushed off the track once again, and he's not having a fun time at the minute. And now Max is going to get past him as well, probably, as he dives down the inside into the first chicane after the first DRS straight, I wanted to say, sorry. And now he's got the outside line though, Max has, and on the exit maybe he can do the switch back on the Williams. Yes, he can.
Oh, there's a free ride for the lead.
Ooh, that's got to be tough.
Kryptonite's got the lead, kept the lead for now, and Luke holding on ahead of Vapornu from Fireman right there as well. This is an incredible battle for the lead, and it seems all 4 of them really are on very different strategies at the moment.
We've had 2 3 wide situations at the same time, because Max, Gabri and McCrew also went 3 wide just when you said for the lead there was a 3 wide situation. Those 3 went 3 wide as well, so seems like drivers are keen to make overtakes this race, and not shy of trying something very special.
Well, Vapornu really knows he needs to get a move on here. He's got the soft tyres, he needs to put them to good use, but he's got 2 guys in front of him who are running very different strategies here tonight and potentially could do something quite different. Vapornu's got a great run there, coming down into turn 5, and I don't think there's much Luke can do to stop that one. It really wouldn't be worth trying. Vapornu gets second place, and he could very well be past Kryptonite very soon as well.
Yeah, obviously Vapornu's on the fastest soft tyres compared to the old mediums that Luke has got on his car. Let's see if Diamond is able to get past Luke here as well. He's going for the outside line, but he's not quite committed, and oh, that's very slow through this chicane, and Diamond more or less runs out of space, and that might give Ryan a chance of passing the Racing Point driver, but he's just a bit too far away and he doesn't even try. And just look at the amount of DRS that Diamond has got. That just shows how much he's risking it tonight and how much he's fighting, and basically everyone is very low on DRS, if I'm honest, and now the 2 Haas drivers are the only ones who've got penalties so far this race.
Vapornu trying to extend that gap while Fireman's kind of caught in traffic here. This is Vapornu's opportunity to make a bit of a break up front. Kryptonite might pit soon, but Luke won't pit for a little while, I don't suspect. And I wonder if Kryptonite and Luke are potentially maybe thinking about a one-stop here.
I reckon they will. I reckon they will because... or I'm actually not sure. Like, this race is so open for strategy now because obviously we've got many guys on the same amount of laps on their medium tyres, but we've also got in the top four actually, 4 different strategic positions that those guys are in, and that just makes the race that much more interesting in terms of strategy. And let's see if Diamond this lap has got the run on Luke to pass him. It looks like he has 4 lap pressure mediums compared. Oh yeah, and he's barely got any ERS left, and he's still diving down the outside of Kryptonite, who just turns in, and that makes Simon cut the corner to avoid a collision, and Kryptonite has just lost 2.
3.
Oh yeah, make that 3 as Ryan goes round the outside. Oh, and that could be tight. He's going down the inside of his main championship rival, but he backed out of there, and that looked like a very scary situation for the championship leader, and that could have been his race over if he wasn't careful enough.
It's not one that he needs to be involved in. And Kryptonite,
look at Boy Roll. Wow, what a move round the outside. That was absolutely brilliant. Talking about that corner is not a corner where you can overtake. Boyrod just proves us absolutely wrong. Flying round the outside of his teammate. Lovely move, and up into P5 he goes.
His teammate comes into the pits. I thought for a split second Kryptonite was letting him through, but I don't think that was the case at all. It was just a super opportunistic move from Boyrod, and he made it stick quite brilliantly. But from Ryan's perspective right now, he's probably quite happy in a way with Vapornoob's doing that from, because Vapornoob has no say in the championship, and of course you gain the most amount of points if you win the race. So from Ryan's perspective, it's not really too bad to see someone like Vapornoob out front at the moment.
I gotta say, just to quickly come back to that situation, oh no, let's quickly focus on that one, and there goes Ryan. It's side by side in between 2 championship rivals, and there goes Ryan, who's the leader of the championship at the minute, and now the leader in between those 2 guys on track as well, and in a not quite championship winning position for the moment.
No, he's got well, I don't know actually.
No, he's getting 2 points, but he needs 3 because of the fastest lap.
Yeah, of course.
Gain 17.
But so I suspect Luke may come under threat from a few drivers behind.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you get overtaken once, you might lose just more and more positions just because you're out of a rhythm. But quickly, I want to come back to that situation between Diamond and Kryptonite. I felt like Diamond was alongside, or at least alongside enough to have a right to be there and have a right for some space on the inside, but it felt like Kryptonite just turned in, not willing to give him any room, and in the end he was the one losing the positions, and yeah, that was enough of a punishment for himself already. So I don't think the stewards will have a look at that, because in the end Diamond got away with it unscathed as Gabriel retires in the pits.
That means we're down to 10 drivers now, I believe, because obviously Kazizel's been driven around by an AI. Thankfully, at least Kazizel's now out of contention in that regard, so we don't have to worry about an AI driver getting involved. We can just...
the way you said it sounded like Kazizel is just sitting in the back and almost like a taxi being driven around by an AI driver. Must be quite comfortable not driving yourself. And gotta say, a lot of hectic battles so far early on in this race in those first 10 laps, and it seems like it's settling down now, and I hope that was the commentator's curse, because in the background we've got Boyrod, yes, and he's trying to go around the outside of Luke. That looked like a pretty easy move for the Renault driver, who's now up into P4.
And of course, we're only on lap 11, of course, but if things finished as they are right now, Ryan would be champion.
Yeah, he's got a gain of 3 points or more that he needs, because if they're equal on points at the end, then he would win, because he's got more race wins to his name. I think he's got 2, hasn't he?
He has, yeah, 2 race wins. Luke doesn't have any.
Still, very impressive season from Luke. I mean, I'm sorry, Luke. That was my fault.
No.
That was absolutely my fault.
Finally, a commentator's curse. It's not me.
Now I'm the one needing to send him a formal apology for that. But that's ridiculous. Come on. But still, fair play to Luke so far this season. I mean, even if you haven't won a race, you could still be far up in the championship, and that's what he's proven to us this season so far. Not a single win, but still the main contender for the championship. Apart from our championship leader Ryan, obviously, he's the one that is the closest to him, with a 14-point gap. But he is, dropping like a stone at the minute on his 11-lap old mediums. Now he's dropped down to 6th as Maxwell goes past him. And that looked like a fairly easy move as well. And it looks like the second Haas is not far away from making the same move. Probably on the next lap then.
No, definitely not. It should be quite easy for McCrew. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Ooh, Luke defends to the inside. And he nearly goes into the other Haas and breaking too late to the corner. And McCrew just about keeps it in a straight line, but
you jinxed it. That's your fault. You said it shouldn't be too difficult.
That's the second week in a row I've jinxed McCrew. I think he'll be happy if I'm not commentating on his tier next season.
Oh, that was brilliant. It shouldn't be too difficult, and then suddenly Luke actually starts to defend. As Jesus, I go onto Cohen's TV. Broadcast camera angle, and he's just completely off the track. That was surely a warning, as the Alfa Romeo driver is trying to get past the Ferrari of Kush. Cohen also has got a penalty. So far we've got 4 people having a penalty. 2 of them are the 2 Haas's, and the other 2 are the 2 Alfa Romeos. So I wonder what team comes next. But,
it should be. As soon as you'll get a penalty.
Yeah, as soon as Kryptonite or Boyrod gets a pen, then his teammate can fare for the next couple of laps already, because they're probably going to get a pen as well. But then lucky for Thyman and Vapornuth, because both of them haven't got a teammate.
I think we're starting to see the effects of Vapornuth's tyres starting to go. Thyman's gained about a second on him in the last couple of laps. And just to answer a question in the chat, is it Thyman shoot or another Thyman? This is another Thyman. This is Thyman Voss, I believe. So yeah, it's not the fireman who races in F1.
I love the way you just put "I believe" behind it, so in case it's wrong, you can just say that was not a fact. That was what I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Covering all bases.
That's the smart thing to do as a commentator. Otherwise, you're spreading fake news in the end.
Look, after the last few laps we've had, I'm not taking anything for granted anymore.
Yeah, we shouldn't talk about particular drivers in this race, if I'm honest. Otherwise, it's gone horribly wrong.
Pitting.
And yeah, don't speed. Yes, slowed down very nicely. 9 laps done on this set of softs, and in for what will be probably his final stop as he fits the medium compound. 15 laps on those should be possible.
And he should rejoin in clear air. He should be in front of Kryptonite. We'll see though.
Gotta say,
sorry. Pit lane exit's super dodgy for guessing when drivers are going to come out in front or not.
Yeah, because you're losing so much time while you're on the, maybe you're pretty much, if you were on track, you're alongside, you would be alongside when you come out the pit lane, but then you lose so much time as the driver who's out on the track goes to turn 1. That you suddenly come out 4 seconds behind him or something. But what I've noticed is Lucas stabilized his performance, and he's not dropped out that 1 second window of Max row ahead, and he's kept the gap stable.
Max is about to attack Boyrod. Yeah, Max going around the outside of a Renault driver into turn 11. That is a really nice move. He makes it stick, but I think he's gone wide and picked up a penalty doing so. Now he's been forced off the track.
Oh, there goes Luke.
Oh, and Luke is involved as well. He probably needs to stay out of this, because I don't know how this is going to end up. Boyrod and Max going side by side. Boyrod can't go around the outside of his corner again, can he? Oh, nearly forced off the road. This is not a section of a track they should be going around side by side. Luke's trying to take advantage and get past Max in the process. Max nearly goes into the wall at the exit of turn 19. What on earth is happening here? Boyrod keeps hold of the position somehow, and Luke gets past Max in the process, and that that just further helps Ryan, who will be building up a bigger lead every moment at the moment. Nearly 5 seconds out of Boyrod while these lot fight like crazy.
Oh, that was quite stressful to watch, if I'm honest. Well, Luke played it pretty smart. He tried to go down the inside in there, but then in the end he made use of that fight and at least got back past the Haas of Maxwell and up into P4 he goes. But he's still behind Boyrod now, but he's got the DRS, which could help him to stay ahead of Max. But Max has got a lot of ERS left to play with, and he's in the slipstream. He's got the DRS as well, and he's trying to get back past Luke here. Luke is leaving the door wide open, coming down into the first chicane after the first DRS straight. And yes, Max has got his position back, and that allowed his teammate McCrew to catch back up to that train. And McCrew is willing to try another one on Luke. Probably not on this lap, but he's going to wait for another lap, and then he's going to have another shot at passing Luke. Remember, Luke on 4-lap older mediums than all the others around him.
Fireman's picked up a penalty, which could be very crucial in terms of his hopes of winning this race. It'll be on fresher mediums at the end, or softs indeed, if he goes go for the soft tyre. But he's going to have a bit of a margin to not only catch Fireman, but also catch Vapor Nuke, but also pass him. Sorry, I'm trying to say all that. I mean, I have a heart in my mouth moment as McCrew nearly goes into the wall at the exit of turn 19. Ryan and Max are both in the pits. Yeah,
very late call from Max there. I think he might have reacted to what Ryan did there in his Mercedes, and probably thought the championship leader knows what he's doing. So I'm just going to repeat the same thing, and Ryan expectedly goes onto the medium tyre. Remember that Luke either has to go onto the hards or the softs, and as I reckon he wouldn't want to go onto hard as everyone else around him is on the mediums, he's probably willing to stretch that stint on his mediums out a bit longer to then fit the softs. And I think you can take the softs around 10 laps probably if you really take care of them.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't want to use the hard tyres. The hard tyres around here are super slow as McCrew goes into the back of Luke. There's a bit of contact there. Under braking for turn 8. Bit of a clumsy one really, but McCrew's going to try and get him now down the next DRS straight. He's got the inside line. Luke's probably thinking, you know what, I'm just going to give up this position. I'm going to lose a lot more if I stay in front. So McCrew gets the place, Luke down to 4th. And yeah, Luke would, I think for sure, definitely be going for soft tyres. The hard tyres around here are so slow. I think they're around 1.5 seconds a lap slower than the mediums. So if you go on hard, you're effectively ending any chances of a top result here. So Luke's just got to stick with these mediums for a few more laps and hope he can pull it back on the softs later on. Feynman hits.
Luke has to be very aggressive on his soft stint then in the end. And, he's pitting now. Luke's pitting now. And that would be quite a stretch to go onto softs now, but he's probably willing to go into the soft. He's probably willing to try it. Those would be 12 laps on those soft tyres then. And it is indeed a soft tyre. I tell you what, those will be dead at the end of the race, especially if he fights now, which he will probably have to do as Max goes past him as well. He will be significantly quicker than the Haas ahead of him now probably, but yeah, I don't know if he will be the same at the end of this race. I highly doubt it actually.
What do you make of Kryptonite? I think he's probably going to go to the end on the mediums he's on. He's currently in 7th. He's only a second and a half behind Feynman, but his medium tyres won't be feeling particularly pleasant by the end either.
We've seen it in F7 yesterday quite a lot, and I think it didn't work out all too bad. And it wasn't quite worth it, but I think if you haven't got the best pace around here, that could be a chance to just gain some spots on strategy, or just not to lose as many spots as you would without the one stop. So Kryptonite taking a gamble here, but I think in his position I'd do the same. I believe he feels like he's not got the pace to improve any more positions, and that's the best chance he's got of a really good result here.
Kush picks up a penalty, completing the Ferrari engined cars all having a penalty each. Don't know if that's something they were going for, but nevertheless, Vapornoof's right behind Kush now. And
Ryan. Went thought about it into the penultimate corner, but backed out in the end.
Crew and Cohen pits. Feynman 3 seconds behind Vapornoof at the moment. I suppose one thing Luke could potentially hope for, because not only is he not in a great position in terms of, like, obviously the tyres and how long he's got to take them, he's also got quite a bit of time to gain as well. But one thing that would help Luke in this situation is probably a safety car. A, bunch the field up for him, and B, mean he doesn't have to take so much out the tyres.
Just a quick update on the championship standings. Yes, indeed, as it stands, there will be Ryan claiming the championship already, as he's clear of Luke so far in terms of points, and Ryan just underlines that even more by passing Kryptonite now, going up into P5 with that, and now he's going to try and get within that 3 second window of Feynman, who will have to deal with Kush in a couple of laps time.
Just having a look at Vapornoof's results from this season, because I'm just trying to get an idea as to where this has kind of come from him. He's had a couple of 7th places. One 7th place and a few 8th places. He did have a 2nd place finish back at France in round 4. I suppose in a way you could say there are some similarities between France and Abu Dhabi. So I don't know, maybe tracks with a lot of runoff and such suit him, but either way,
maybe tracks that nobody else likes suit him. Then he would have done well in Russia as well, but
what did he do at Russia?
No, I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't race, and maybe that theory still stands.
No, he did finish the race, but didn't score any points.
Okay, theory out the window then. Luke with a new fastest lap. And yeah, I think it's going to be tough for Luke to keep that championship alive, and to just extend that to next week when we head to Japan for the finale. And it looks like Ryan is in a very comfortable position at the minute to win this championship comfortably. He's got enough points over Luke to secure it tonight, and it looks like he will if nothing goes wrong. But we've still got 10 laps remaining and nothing is done yet. Let's all keep in mind this is still Formula 1 racing, and we all know what happened in 2008, so that's the best example of the race is not done until everyone's crossed the line.
There is one person potentially who could take this to Japan, and that's Feynman. If he can get past Vapornoof and build 3 second gap and get fastest lap, it's a big ask, but he would reduce the gap to 17 points, and he does have...
and we've got a safety car.
Safety car! And that's because Kush is out.
Okay, top 2 don't pit. Let's see what Ryan does. Will Ryan go for a pit stop onto the softs now? Yes, he will. That's a smart thing to do. Kryptonite also dives in. Max does dive in as well, and that helps Luke now. He's going to fly past everyone here because he can still do his delta pace, and the top 2 have not pitted, and that might be a big mistake. 2 laps done on that soft tyre, and that really helps Luke at the minute. That could keep the championship alive then for him.
Yeah, you just said it's F1 racing and anything can happen, and well, it just has. Kush out the race, and all of a sudden, it might be the smart move for Ryan to take on a new set of tyres, but positionally speaking right now, he's not in championship position anymore. Luke up to 3rd, Feynman in 2nd, Ryan down to 5th, and essentially he's got Boyrod in front of him, who's kind of got similar age soft tyres, so that won't be an easy move to make either. And a lot of people, of course, have now pitted for fresh soft, so you can't even guarantee he'll get the fastest lap point either. So, yeah, this has very much come alive now, and I think we're going to get a dramatic end to this race. And what will Vapornoof and Feynman do? Do you think they might pit at the end of this lap?
I'm not sure. I think if they do, they would they lose the spot? I'm not sure. Would be close, I think. Especially with the pit exit, which costs a lot of time, but I'm not sure. They could still be in the lead, but I think they basically have to pit for softs, otherwise they're going to be eaten up at the restart. But will they keep the position? It could only just be enough. By the way, I did the maths, and it looks like at the moment or not at the moment generally. Diamond would need to gain 7 points. Okay, Vapornude does not pit, but Diamond does. And Diamond needs to gain, what did I just say? 7 points. 7 points on championship leader Ryan to keep his title hopes alive. Because then, if he scores a fastest lap and the race win in the next round in Japan and Ryan retires, very unlikely, but it could happen, then he would win. And Diamond is just about to lose the spot to Luke now.
Yeah, it's going to be close between him and Boyrod, I think, as well. I think Feynman might just have it. Yes, he does. Feynman rejoins in third, and that's a car between him and Ryan. That's not too bad. And of course, Luke is on softs, but he has been on them a couple of laps, so maybe in the last lap or two, he may start to lose a grip from those. But this is going to be interesting now, because Vapornude's stayed out on mediums that are 6 laps old. He's going to be almost like he's going to be causing a traffic jam come the restart, and this could get really dramatic here. This is not really. I mean, I imagine coming into this, Ryan would have dreamt of a really nice, stress-free evening of racing. I don't think his last 7 laps are going to be what he wanted.
It definitely looked nice and easy for him to sail home with this championship tonight. But now the tables have turned. Just within a single second when the safety car came out and was deployed. And I tell you what, if Luke is able to get past Vapornude very quickly and then Vapornude defends for his life against Diamond, then Luke could actually still win this race. But he needs to do a quick move. It would be quite an amazing one, especially starting in P9. But I don't want to give him props yet because, you know, commentators.
You've already jinxed one driver tonight.
I don't need to jinx another one. So let's just stay calm, see what happens, and I think we've got an absolute thriller upon our hands.
The only thing is, let me just see, where's Cohen on track? Okay, Cohen and McCrew are still catching up. I was about to say, we were just waiting for Kazizel's AI. Yeah, because no, we have still got a few drivers that are trying to catch up to the train. Yeah, this is the only thing we say with absolute certainty is that Vapornude's going to be a serious roadblock come this restart, because he just won't have the speed those on the soft tyres will have. And I am like you. I mean, if he had a pitted, he was ahead of Feynman, so he would have come out in second behind Luke, and he would have still had a good chance of winning this race. So I'm a bit surprised he's taken that decision, but I guess no championship to fight for. He's decided to go against the grain and do something a bit different. The one thing it's worth pointing out, though, for Ryan, over all of his championship contenders here, is that he is the only one without a penalty, which could be quite crucial with them all bunched up now.
Yeah, Vapornude and him haven't got any pens, you're right. But Vapornude has got 2 warnings, and so has Ryan. So it's not going to be easy for them.
Yeah, Kryptonite's on 2 warnings as well. So they're all 3 of them are quite close to getting a penalty. So that's going to be, and of course in the heat of combat of these last 7 laps, it'd be quite easy to just go too much over a curve and pick up another warning. So this is going to be such a tough one to call now. And I hope we get the safety car into the end of this lap, because I just want to see 6 laps of absolute drama here.
Yeah, I think we are going to see an absolute drama finish to this race. The safety car might come in at the end of this lap or might wait another lap. Depends how quickly that AlphaTauri, for a split second I actually forgot the team name, is catching up. And yes, it is coming in this lap.
Thank you, Kazizel's AI, for catching up just in time. And we can get back underway.
He's led the race for a couple of laps.
Yeah, of course. I was going to say, this is the first safety car restart we've got tonight where it's not an AI controlling the pace. So it'll be interesting to see how Vapornude approaches this. I suspect he'll probably go a bit sooner than what the AI did. But the question is, can Luke respond to it in time? You can see the way he's positioned his car. He's eager to get on with this. And these are tense moments.
Yeah, and he's gone now. That was probably smart. Slightly caught Luke off guard there. half a second down already, and that was a solid restart. 6-10s now in between P1 and P2.
Ryan's
And there's
got a
Ryan's penalty. There is Ryan's penalty that everyone else needed, and now Ryan is not in a great position.
Max has gone! He tried to go for the inside of Kryptonite and he spun round. That's Max's championship hopes gone, I'm afraid.
And Luke is struggling massively and could be overtaken by Thyman on this restart lap. He's nearly outside the 1 second window of Vapornuth already. Vapornuth has had a great restart. And let's look at Thyman, who wants to get that race win and wants to keep his championship hopes alive as he's in his slipstream. He's not using DRS yet because he knows the DRS is coming in handy. Ryan gets past Boyrod, and yes, he's got the move done, doesn't break too late, and that's a crucial move for him up into P4. And remember, now he's on the same amount of penalties, and as it stands, I think Kryptonite will actually win.
Well, Vapornuth could still win, of course.
Oh yeah, sorry, forgot Vapornuth hasn't got a pen either. Sorry, completely forgot about that. But yeah, Kryptonite, as it stands, is currently in second, I think.
Yeah, this is going to be super close, and you suspect that Vapornuth and Luke are really going to bunch these guys up with a difference in tyre. Feynman nearly pushing Luke around the corner. He's really got so much more grip at this point. Maybe Luke's already taken the best out of those soft tyres. Even in the safety car conditions, doesn't look like he's got a grip right now, but Vapornuth is just starting to fall back into Luke's path. Yeah,
and I think just at the right time as well, because now he's got the slipstream he needs to stay ahead of Thyman, and Thyman has lost a bit of time through the last corner, and Ryan has caught up now, so this could be... They've got 3 title contenders within the first 4 positions. The other title contenders sadly down in 10th at the minute after a spin into turn 1. Will be 9 at the end of this race because Kazizel still isn't in the race, but we could see a move from Luke already.
Yeah, he knows he needs to make it, and he potentially hopes that if he can get past Vapornuth, he can then hold the other guys up a bit. But the problem is, if he makes a move, there's every chance that Feynman might follow him through, but Feynman's looking potentially making a double overtake here. Luke's going for it down the inside on Vapornuth. There's a bit of contact here. This is dangerous moments for a championship contender. More contact. He goes off the road, and now I could leave him at the prey of Feynman. Vapornuth doesn't know where to go, left or right. There's cars whichever way he looks. But Vapornuth actually holds the line very well. Feynman trying to go round the outside. Is he going to make it stick into 14, 15 and 16? Yes, he does. Wow, what an overtake. And now Luke trying to follow Vapornuth. Ryan. Luke up to second.
That was very intense, but Luke has got the spot. And he has got the points he needs on Ryan to keep the championship alive coming into the final round. And Luke has just got another 3 seconds.
Another 3 second penalty. He'd just done the hard work and now he's in all kinds of trouble. The one thing now though is Feynman's leading this race. If he can get past this lap, he still could keep this alive because he would get 7 points over Ryan if Ryan finished third and Feynman was winning. But of course now Ryan's in a good spot here to potentially get second, but Vapornuth's lack of penalties could still come into play.
Now Luke is in a bit of a difficult situation. He surely wants to keep Vapornuth in his DRS to help him stay ahead of Ryan, so Ryan can't attack him directly, but he needs to get that 3 second gap to his championship rival in order to gain some points on him this weekend. Say weekend, just oh, as Rydell breaks himself and might come under threat from Boyrod now again, as Boyrod gets a much better exit. Oh no, he doesn't actually. Good recovery there from Ryan. But
Boyrod picked up oversteer on the exit and really ruined his exit there. He would have had a good chance. Vapornuth coming back at Luke.
Oh.
And Luke's going to hang on to it, but yeah, Luke all of a sudden back to defending again. He doesn't look like he's doing too well on those tyres, but look at Ryan. Vapornuth's gone.
Oh no. What happened?
I don't know if it was contact between him and Luke. It looked like Luke had got back past. I switched to sort of see the gap behind, and then Vapornuth's gone round. He's down to 8th place. And that puts everything into the hands, well, actually, Kryptonite in a way, but also Ryan to an extent. But, ooh, I'm thinking as it stands, you're probably looking at Ryan finishing third, and Feynman has just done the fastest lap. So, as it stands, believe it or not, Ryan won't be champion.
Yeah, but not because of Luke, but because of Thyman, who was reserved for the majority of this season. But yeah, it's impressive how he's still in that championship fight in the penultimate round here. And still remember, that could 3 warnings is so easy to get. I mean, we're only 3 laps away from the finish, but still, in theory, Ryan could still pick up another penalty. Who knows? And we saw how quickly it can go for Luke, for example. And it's all not done yet. We still got 3 laps of green flag racing remaining, hopefully, if there's no BSC or anything. But nothing's done yet. Nothing's decided yet. And if I take a look at penalties, looks like everyone's got 3 seconds apart from Luke, who's actually in the fight for the win. Or not the win, but for the top positions, as Ryan Idiot breaks himself and hits the rear end of Luke.
And also, Vapornoof's not... You've got to consider him as well, because he's right in the back of his train again. And I believe he's still under 3 seconds behind Ryan. So, Vapornoof could still play a part in this yet. This is going to be so close with the timings.
Oh, wow, this is... Oh, and I tell you what, this really helps Simon once again, because Ryan's then not even going to finish 3rd as it stands.
Well, let's just put this into context. Feynman wasn't even in the F4 chat for the first 3 races. He wasn't a part of the league until round 4. He couldn't participate in round 5 because there were no spots available, because obviously as a reserve you need a car to be available in order to race. So he's missed 4 races through no fault of his own, and he could be the one that takes this championship to Suzuka. This is incredible.
Yeah, but we'll have to keep in mind that Ryan is still trying his best to get away from Lucas, still trying his best to get away from Ryan here, but it's not easy for him at the minute, as his tyres are just 3 laps older than Ryan's, and that makes a big difference. And there goes Ryan then, it looks like, down the inside into the chicane here, and it looks like a fairly easy move on his previous main championship rival, which is now turned into a secondary championship rival, it looks like. And the gap in between him and Vapornoof is oh so close.
And Boyrod is in overtake mode. He wants to take advantage of this. He's going to follow through, but he's broke too late. And he goes into Ryan. And he spins round. And thankfully doesn't take Ryan with him.
Thank God. Oh wow, I thought that was championship over for Ryan this weekend. But lucky for him, he didn't... Oh, it didn't do any harm to him. I was really scared that this could decide the championship in the end, but it looks like Ryan has gone through there unscathed. That was very lucky for him.
Boyrod was so eager to get past Luke as well. He completely misjudged his braking spot, and thankfully the contact only sent Boyrod round. It didn't send Ryan round 2. But that was really heart-in-mouth moments there. It looked like one of those moments where you've just seen a title bid slip away. But thankfully for Ryan, he's got away with it. And he can now try and build as much of a lead as possible as we're on to the final lap. And he still needs to try and gain some time to fend off, in particular, Vapornoof.
Currently he's got the gap. Currently he has got the gap. But that could change within a single split second. But he's pulling away quite nicely at the minute. And right now it would be enough. Right now is up to 4 seconds.
So that means he will be 3rd as Kryptonite goes up to 3rd past Luke. And McCrew tries to follow through past Luke rather. And it was super close there on the exit. I didn't anticipate that move at all. And now Cohen and Boyrod and Vapornoof trying to get involved as well. This is going to be absolute carnage down into turn 11, and it looks like McCrew's going to hold on to it. Luke round the outside, but he's got nowhere to go, has to go off the track. McCrew picks up another penalty. I think Vapornoof's probably going to leapfrog all these guys anyway, so he just doesn't need to get involved. But yeah, as it stands, Kryptonite's going to beat Ryan to 2nd, and Feynman has the fastest lap, so I think
he takes it to the final round.
Only just, but we are going to Suzuka.
Yeah, and around the final corner he comes to take not only the win, but also the fastest lap. And he is going to be the man that takes up the championship fight to the final round against Ryan, who's only going to come home in 3rd, ahead of Vapornoof by not much. But he is going to stand on the podium. Another... Oh, yeah, wow. That was, in the end, a lot more exciting than I thought it was going to be when we were on, like, lap 20 or something. And that was quite an end to a race. And we haven't got a champion yet, but we've got a very, very big championship lead coming into the final round. 17 points for Ryan ahead of Diamond. In theory, it is still possible. If Ryan retires and Thyman gets the fastest lap and wins the race, he's the champion because of the amount of wins he's got. But for now, it's looking very good for Ryan.
Yeah, we just can't mathematically for sure say he has done it. It has gone to the final round just about. Someone's going to have to do some maths here because Boyrod's time has glitched out. So he's apparently finished a lap down, which we know he hasn't. So someone's going to need to work out his penalties and where he actually finishes. I might try and have a quick look now, but I think he came across the line in 7th, I want to say. I don't know how many penalties he had. But it's saying he's 10th and a lap down, which he really isn't.
10th would even be...
Oh no! Wait a minute! Ryan is champion! Max got fastest lap!
Oh, he has! He's taken it away on the final lap!
Max has dashed Fireman's hopes right at the end by doing a 134.7, so Ryan is your Formula 4 champion.
Oh, wow, that... I didn't expect that at all. I thought it was going to Japan, but seems like Max was planning on spoiling some parties here. And suddenly he has. And he's taken the fastest lap away from Thyman. Thyman is going to be absolutely furious at Max because he's got that one extra point for the fastest lap. And he's taken that away from Thyman. And now it is not going to go to Japan. And we have a confirmed champion with Ryan, and wow, that came out of nowhere. I was so planning on like having a title decided, and then Ryan taking it very carefully next week. But yeah, there we go.
In bizarre circumstances, Max did the fastest lap right at the end after his 4th pit stop and has taken it away. Taking Fireman's hopes away from him. That's going to be gutty. I can't believe that's happened. But fair play to Ryan. 2 wins to his name, and he's kind of led the championship from the front for the most part. And he sealed it here in what I can only describe as quite bizarre circumstances.
All right. Yeah. Well, then I think it's time for an interview. I'd say because. How can you not interview the freshly crowned champion? So I'm just going to invite him. Meanwhile, I'll have to do the talking because that is still not a thing that the viewers can hear you, which is absolute... I can't say the word on stream. Ryan... Is it Ryan 55X? Yeah. Ryan _ 55X. Has he got a strawberry guy as... I don't know. Hope that's him. Should be. Yeah, it should be now. Have I? Yeah.
No.
Maybe he's surprised now that there's suddenly podium interviews, but no, it's not a podium interview, it's a champion interview now. As we're waiting if he wants to join us for a quick word on his championship win this season, which caught us both off guard a little bit, if we're honest, because I was so sure that it was going to go to the final round now, but suddenly it's not, and suddenly we've got our crowned champion then. And I'm just going to ask in the chat if Ryan wants to do an interview. Or if he's not planning on doing one. He's not online in on Discord, which is not a good thing. Ah, he is typing. And he said he's not sure if he's wanted.
2008 Brazil flashbacks going on right here. Max's fastest laugh has swung it.
Yeah, and the crew just said Max got fastest lap, and Simon replied, "Yeah." And then FFS, we all know what that means, but I can't, fully say it on stream. And
Quintum's asking me if we do podium interviews. just saying, you're good, mate. We're just doing a champion interview.
and Ryan said he's not sure though, as there was an incident with Vapor. Now we know that Vapornoot didn't spin on his own. There was contact with Ryan.
I was gonna say, because I know Luke had kind of got past him, so I didn't see him, unfortunately. Sometimes the camera angles on some of the corners are a bit rubbish. You can't really see too well.
Dodgy.
Yeah.
Especially there. Is that turn 11?
No, it was around. It was coming up to that triple right. It was just out of turn 14 and then up to that triple right where Boyrod did that outside around his teammate.
Yeah, Ryan said he wants to join. I think he should have the invite. I hope he does. It is the right guy, is it? I added to the chat. If you can take a look. Should be. Ryan_55X.
Do you see Demis? Yeah, that's the one.
Right. So yeah, I think he might just not be able to join because he's not on my friends list now. Oh no, it's 2 underscores actually. Ah. Imagine if actually a random Ryan just joined on stream, just dropping a few.
God dang it.
Now I need to... Come on. Okay. Now
It just looks so funny seeing 2 very similarly named Ryans in the chat.
I would have laughed if that random just joined. Not knowing what's going on.
Yeah, which Ryan will join, the right one or the random one?
Okay, I think we've got the right Ryan in here now. So
did you invite someone else?
Yeah, we might have.
Oh no.
Ryan 55X with 1 underscore.
Alright, please make sure you've got your microphone on share.
Yeah.
Alright, then we can start off with our newly crowned F4 PSGL Season 27 champion, Ryan. First of all, huge congratulations. But the game and the safety car especially definitely made you work for that one.
Yeah, true.
So, just tell us how you felt during the entirety of the race, because it felt like you looked pretty comfortable, pretty relaxed, and it looked like everything was under control. And then suddenly the safety car came out, and like, what was your mindset then? Because then you really had to work for it this race as well.
Yeah, you always have people on different strategies, so I had to work my way up, like get past those people on all the tires. So it wasn't easy, and there was a lot of carnage going on in front of me sometimes. So
In the
yeah,
end,
in
you've
the end it worked out.
yeah, in the end, you've only just won it thanks to Max, who stole the fastest lap away on the final lap of the race from Diamond. So you've got an 18-point gap in the championship, and with only 17 points to play for next week, you are, as it stands, if there's no penalties coming into play, obviously, the newly crowned champion. And just tell us how you feel. Is that just a big relief? And it looked like you were a bit conservative in the last few races in terms of moves. It looked like you didn't want to risk too much, and now is that a bit of a relief to finally have won it and to not needing to think about every move twice?
Yeah, definitely. I had like a much bigger gap a few races ago, so I was really cautious. The last like 3 races, I think. I think you've probably seen it on Mexico as well. But I was really careful and didn't make any stupid dive bombs or anything.
Yeah,
Today the same again. So
yeah, we saw some situations with Luke as well. Obviously, who was your main championship rival, which has turned into Thyman in the end. Then, but we saw a nearly 3 white moment then with Luke, and I can't remember who else it was, but
yeah, it was Vapor.
yeah, Vapor knew. Then just in those situations, and for example, when I think it was Boyrod who then dived it down the inside, misjudged his braking and hit your car. Just what was going on inside of your head in those situations?
Well, I was in the party with Boyrod, so I was lucky that he said, "Watch out," when it happened. Otherwise, yeah, I might have spun there, but I just avoided all the carnage pretty much.
Yeah, in the end,
And like when we were 3 wide or something, I was just being small and backed out of it.
yeah,
Didn't do anything stupid. So
over the whole course of the season, you've been pretty consistent in terms of points. Obviously, you've had a great start to the season. You've won your races. Luke hasn't won a single race, but was pretty consistent, and you had a lot of good competitors. But in the end, you came out on top. And now with the championship settled, coming into the last round, are you changing your driving style now, maybe to a bit more of an aggressive driving style?
I've done 2 races with no line this season. And yeah, obviously, like F3 is gonna change to no line, and F2 is no line as well. So the next race I'm gonna be using no line, definitely. So we'll see what the pace is first of all, and yeah, I'm obviously just gonna go for the moves if possible. I'm not gonna be cautious anymore now. At least not as much as I was the last few races.
So, Jake, I reckon you've got some more questions for our newly crowned champion as well.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations as well from me. And I suppose a quick word from you towards Feynman. How amazed have you been with his attempts to stop you in a championship, considering that he wasn't even around for the first sort of 3 races?
Yeah, I always practice with Damon, so I obviously know his pace. He's really quick, so
You've still gotten out.
He also helped me through the season on some races. For example, Singapore, he really helped me there. So
You've still got an outside shot at the constructors against Alfa Romeo. Is that something you might be targeting next week?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what the point gap is today.
And were
It
you
was 7 points before this race. So yeah, I mean, still everything to fight for.
at all surprised by the pace of Vapornoof this evening?
Don't know. I mean, a point zero quality is good, but yeah, I was frustrated that I was P4 in quality. Because in practice, me and Timon were doing like 0.8s easily, sometimes even quicker. And then yeah, obviously that's gonna be fighting in front of you. So that's why Vapor got away.
And just lastly,
He was like similar pace, I think, maybe a little bit slower, but yeah.
and just lastly from me, what are going to be your aims going into season 28, the final season, on this game?
Well, first of all, I obviously hope that I'm gonna be F2 next season, and yeah, we'll see from there on.
Okay, no worries. And once again, congratulations from me on sealing the championship here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, then, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks once again for tuning in as we've got our newly crowned champion this evening. Still make sure to check out next week's race when we head to Japan for the finale of this season for what will hopefully be an all or nothing race, because nobody's got anything to lose from now on. The championship is decided, and hopefully we will see some good racing action next week once again. I've had a lot of fun commentating today once again with you, Jake, and yeah, thank you very much for joining me once again.
No worries, and yeah, see you all next week for the final race.
Yeah, once again, congratulations to Ryan for winning this championship, and yeah, I hope to see you guys next week once again, Monday 7 p.m. UK time. Make sure to check out the F1 stream as well, which is still live at the moment on the PSGL channel. And until then, goodbye and take care.